With Vince McMahon dealing with new legal issues and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching The Wrestling Report. As Jordynne Grace became a free agent in May after finishing up her run with Impact Wrestling, a fan asked when she would be seen on national television again, with her replying, "Maybe next year, I'm in no rush." Speaking about his brother Dustin Rhodes, Cody Rhodes said this to Fan Nation: "I would like to induct Dustin into the Hall of Fame. I would also never turn down an opportunity to team with him again. We've had an even better experience wrestling against each other. It's a very unique brotherhood. Dustin's an all-time great. I'm not saying he's going anywhere, but he won't be here forever. I hope people appreciate that he is still trying to go at the highest level and trying to pass his knowledge on, and I would jump at the chance to do one more thing with him, to induct him in the Hall of Fame, which is so well deserved on his part and Arn Anderson. Arn is blood in his own way. I'd love to do more with Dustin and Arn." Sticking with Cody Rhodes, he was asked about his favorite thing in AEW following his departure from the company, as he told Forbes, "Ricky Starks. I love what Ricky's doing. He surprised me at the Royal Rumble and just showed up backstage. There's grainy security footage that you can still find of Ricky backstage, and that's just him. I love seeing guys like Ricky and MJF doing well in AEW. It's great seeing all the talent I trained with and worked with at the Nightmare Factory growing and really making a name for themselves." Responding to allegations that he attempted to rig the Brawl for All tournament for Dr. Death Steve Williams, Jim Ross noted on his podcast, "Many of my detractors thought that I had loaded the tournament so Dr. Death Steve Williams could win it, and that's total BS. I had nothing to do with the bracketing and who fought who or whatever, but it's a good story, but it's just not accurate. We just looked at it as a unique way of introducing Doc. The goal, if we could get there, was to get a one-off with Doc versus Austin, but we never got that far down the road. It blew up on us." Taking to social media, Intercontinental Champion Gunther mentioned how he is on the cover of a newspaper in his home country, writing first pro wrestler to be featured on the front page of the nationwide issue of Austria's #1 newspaper. During a Q&A session on ad-free shows, Kurt Angle explained why he continues to talk about Chris Benoit, saying, "The thing is with Chris Benoit, you can't forget he has a son still, okay? The reason why I talk about him so much is because of his son. He has a living son right now that thinks the world of his father. I mean, he's forgiving him for what he's done. There's no excuse for what Chris had done. But when you have a living human being that absolutely idolized their father, and you're going to say, I don't want to talk about Chris Benoit because he's a piece of and what he did to his family is horrible, what is that going to do for that kid? A lot of times when I talk about Chris, I get negative feedback on social media, but you can't excuse the fact that he was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. You can't ignore that. It's really difficult to do that. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't condone anything he's done, but I know this: Chris was the best in-ring performer I've ever been in the ring with, and I can't lie about that." Addressing her announcing botch at Money in the Bank, where she said Bayley was a member of Judgment Day, Samantha Irvin told Out of Character, "I said representing the Judgment Day and I counted. I said it 20 times that week. I said representing Damage Control 0 times that week. I don't know what happened. And I'm being honest, and this is really on me. I was so relieved that we got through the rules, and then I turned around and Bayley's coming out and I said representing Judgment Day, Bayley. And then Io Sky comes out and I was like, wait, I didn't say Damage Control at all. And I look at Mike Rome and ask, what did I say? He goes, what? I didn't hear anything. And he was like, let me check Twitter. And he's like, oh yeah, you said Judgment Day. As Nate Diaz is set to box Jake Paul on Saturday, WWE tried to put a fight together between the former UFC star and Logan Paul. As Diaz explained why he turned this down, telling ESPN, the WWE came in and then they wanted to take over the whole thing. And I'm like, I just got out of the UFC. Why am I going to sign with WWE? I fight for real. I'm not going to be doing a real fight on a WWE card or no funny like that. Logan Paul would also comment on this situation, saying, you can still be a real fighter with the biggest sports organization in the world promoting your fight. It's a little lame to me, and I can definitely sell more tickets. I see what he's doing. I'm the harder fight. I'm the bigger brother. I'm the stronger brother. I'm the faster brother. It appears that AEW have retained some of their top stars, as it was noted that all 4 members of the Elite have renewed their contracts with All Elite Wrestling. Sports Illustrated has learned. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, and Hangman Adam Page each signed multi-year deals, ensuring that AEW will remain elite. The Elite have been so important to the launch of AEW, with the Young Bucks going all in when I first approached them in 2018 about my dream to create an international pro wrestling promotion, said Tony Khan, who is CEO, GM, and head of creative of AEW. Shortly after that, their partners and closest friends Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page joined us to formally launch All Elite Wrestling. All 4 of them have been instrumental to AEW's success from the very first episode of Dynamite in 2019 through the present day. Now, as we celebrate tonight's 200th episode of Dynamite, I'm excited to share that Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Hangman Adam Page will all be staying in AEW for years to come. We look forward to celebrating the great news with fans around the world. In addition to their work on screen, Omega and the Bucks will remain executive vice presidents. They have been in that role since AEW's creation in 2019 and will continue working to elevate the company even higher into the wrestling pantheon. Omega would say this about re-signing to Sports Illustrated. Our original goal was to create a wrestling alternative and give a platform to talented people that we'd all felt deserved a spotlight. I feel like we did our best in that time, and hopefully some people you'd never heard of pre-AEW are folks you enjoy watching today. Or if you knew them from their previous work elsewhere, have maybe found a new appreciation for them. That feeling, combined with a feeling of knowing they can provide for themselves and their family doing what they love, was always the biggest reward of being an EVP/founder. Pro wrestling has a presence almost everywhere on the planet. In my pursuit to become as complete of a performer as possible, my goal was always to experience the styles of the world at their highest level. I believe that with AEW's current working relationship and possibly future, I can challenge all forms of pro wrestling and diversify my style so that I'm equipped for any scenario I may encounter in the ring. I was careful to weigh out all the options and was open-minded to all possibilities. I'm here to help whomever I can while I'm still around. Up to this point, I've made the choice to sacrifice everything in the name of pro wrestling. I can't say that family or my kids influenced the decision to stay with AEW. I'm not married and without kids, but what I can say is that I'm incredibly proud of my match catalog and the wonderful people I've met and continue to meet. AEW not only allows me to continue doing what I do at a high level, but allows the freedom to pursue some other passions I have in life, which, after nearly 25 years in the ring, have become more and more important to me. The Young Bucks would add, "We're literally the E in AEW, says Matt Jackson. The Elite are the main characters of this company. No matter how different AEW is now from its original inception, we are the DNA, and if you lose the foundation of your home, it eventually collapses. It'd be a lie if I said that didn't weigh on us when making the decision. If we're going to be honest, the schedule was a huge part of it, says Nick Jackson. I have a wife and 3 young children, and seeing them as much as possible was a big factor. I'm not going to lie, the money was a huge factor too. At this point in my life and career, I just couldn't see myself being on the road half of the year or even more than that. I have so much respect for the guys and girls that are able to do that year after year. We for sure could have made memories in WWE, but what's more important to me is making memories with my family. With the position we're in, I'll be able to do that and still make memories in AEW. In my older years of my career being closer to the end than I am the beginning, I'm not really one who worries much about my legacy anymore, says Matt Jackson. I've kind of noticed like a summer tan, most memories fade, or they're remembered differently or told with errors anyway. Oftentimes the memory is almost instantly forgotten because you hit the refresh button. As far as my own personal stories, I'll have enough to retell my grandchildren for a lifetime, and much of those stories can be about how I helped create a massively successful wrestling company where all of your favorites can be seen on live television every week. Ultimately, I made the best decision for my family. Working in AEW will allow me the most time with my children, and they're still at the young age where they need their dad home as much as possible. Having the strongest marriage possible with my wife Dana is so important to me as well. When wrestling is finished, I want to come home to a full, healthy home. The entire Elite was going to make the decision of where we were going together, and that's what we did. We stuck together, which isn't typical in the wrestling business, but again, I used the word family earlier. We're not just locker room pals. We're more like a family, and we did what the family wanted. In an update on legal issues surrounding Vince McMahon and WWE, Ringside News writes, in WWE's second quarter financial results reported on August 2nd, 2023, several legal updates concerning Vince McMahon were disclosed. These updates pertain to the Board of Directors investigation conducted in 2022, which looked into allegations of misconduct against McMahon, including allegations of sexual harassment and hush money payments. The investigation resulted in expenses incurred by WWE for costs related to the investigation and legal fees in connection connection with related lawsuits. Vince McMahon has agreed to reimburse the company for reasonable costs incurred during the investigation, and he has paid approximately $7.4 million to date. In addition to the ongoing investigation, on July 17, 2023, federal law enforcement agents executed a search warrant and served a federal grand jury subpoena on Vince McMahon. As of now, no charges have been brought in relation to this investigation. Following the recent development, Vince McMahon underwent major spinal surgery on July 21, 2023. As a result, he went on medical leave and will remain on leave until further notice. Despite being on medical leave, McMahon will continue to serve as the executive chairman of WWE. WrestleVotes would post a statement from McMahon sent to WWE employees this morning. It reads, "In 2022, WWE formed a special committee to review allegations of misconduct against me. That review was concluded in November 2022 following an extensive investigation. Throughout this experience, I have always denied any intentional wrongdoing and continue to do so. I am confident that the government's investigation will be resolved without any findings of wrongdoing. I am focused on completing the recovery process for my recent spinal surgery and on closing our transaction with Endeavor, which will create one of the preeminent global sports and entertainment brands." And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.